at some type of area. Water pollution in the Great Lakes, if we look at an example, back in the day, there was a problem with water pollution in the Great Lakes. 38 million people get fresh water from the lakes. And there was a huge problem with increase in rural domestication, livestock, irrigation, which you see here with this graph. You get an increase in pesticides, different types of solvents, heavy metals, dioxins, and then this is also a type of pesticides in that area. And as the people in those areas do more of this, it drains into the waterways. So the water was getting polluted. And this is Canada, and then we have the US here. Alright, so it's almost like tragedy of the commons. Who's going to manage this resource? So they did, both the countries, the United States and the Canada, sign the Great Lakes Toxics and Substance Control Agreement to reduce pollution into the Great Lakes, which helped reduce pollution. Other countries that have been dealing with pollution issues, you have Venezuela, you have Italy, which you have a diagram down here with orange is the cropland, so a lot of non-point source pollution and runoff. And then arsenic poisoning in Bangladesh. We saw something with that earlier this year, looking at the kidney disease. Now we get into soil pollution. And soil pollution really is very similar to water pollution because what's a main component of soil? Yeah, it's water. So water and soil interact very intimately, and any physical or chemical change in the soil can adversely cause effects on health of plants and other organisms that are living in or on it. And that's what soil pollution is. Mainly coming from fertilizers and pesticides. So this individual putting some pesticide spray down on the plants will eventually seeps into the soil. You can also, and that would, in fertilizers, cadmium tends to be present, and that in a buildup can cause kidney disease. And salinization can happen as well, which is just increase in salt, which would reduce plant growth. And that's removing too much water from an area. Different ways to clean these up once you have problems with soil, and some of these are pretty neat. We have dilution to begin with, and what do you think you do with dilution? You just add a lot of water into it and dilute the stuff, kind of like what you would do in chemistry. If you have too much or too high of a concentration of something, you put a lot of water with it and it dilutes it. That's what they do. They pump a lot of water through a system. Vapor extraction. Now this one's a little new to me as well. It's injecting air into the soil to remove organic compounds that might be volatile. So they pump in air, gets out the volatile compounds. There's that way. Bioremediation, what do you think that is? What's bio mean? It means life. Remediation means clean up. So it's using bacteria to clean up an issue. And then the last one we're going to look at here is phytoremediation. What does phyto mean? Yeah, phyto means, my pen here, means plants. Oop, that says plants. It's plants. So it's using plants to clean up. And it got a diagram down here as phytoremediation. It's almost like the waste water treatment of using wetlands. As wastewater comes in, there's a lot of pollution in the area. And that pollution is absorbed by plants. And then the plants do not allow it to flow continuous through the water. They absorb it and stays with them through their life cycle. So phytoremediation is a way to get out some of those pollutants, organic pollutants, from water. So just to recap, since we're finishing up air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution, effects on humans with these different types of pollutants. If we look at air pollutants, affects respiratory systems like ozone, sulfur oxides, and nitrogen oxides. You can get different types of cancers in the intestines from volatile organic compounds. And then lead, which can be in the air from burning lead-based gasoline, can cause nerve damage. If we look at water pollutants, a lot of these tend to have problems with your intestines or your digestive tract. It has to do with bacteria and pesticides and possible other chemicals that could cause maybe kidney disease, which isn't on here. And then soil contaminants. Soil contaminants like pesticides. Alright, we're going to stop there. Different effects of pollution on humans.